All right, let's get into it. I do want to apologize ahead of time as well. My chair is bloody squeaky today, so sorry if that pops up, but it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, Rosetta. Post Runeblade Day. I have not had a look at this. I've seen a few things pop on my timeline, so I do know a few things that we're going to come across, but I wanted to save it, dive in all together. Obviously, this is day one. Mostly Runeblade specific stuff, but I'm assuming we'll get some Earth and Lightning stuff as well to look at. Not entirely sure. Again, I'm not too bothered about the wizard stuff, so I won't be doing a review for that. I am interested in Floran and Aurora, and of course any implications for Viserai and Vincent, who I am loving. So hopefully we get some good stuff for her. Cool. Obviously, if you guys are building decks, looking up spoilers, Fabric, head there. I'll put the link in my description, but definitely what I use. So that's why we're looking at all of this as well. So we've got Florian. Now, just as a brief summary of these rune blades that we're going to be looking at. So for those that might not know, we have Florian Rotwood Harbinger, Essence of Earth, and if there are 8 or more Earth cards in your banish zone, Florian gets, if you would create 1 or more aura tokens, instead create that many +1. Pretty dope. And notably, the young hero here is scaled down, so for Blitz only requires 4 or more, which is important. And then Aurora, once per turn instant, 2 resources, create an embodiment of lightning token, which gives your attack actions go again. Activate it only if you've played a lightning card this turn, and then obviously Essence of Lightning. That's the young version. You can see Aurora. To be honest, I'm not as excited for Aurora, mainly because of the art. It's not my vibe. I'm definitely feeling Florian if I'm going to play a Runeblade that isn't Vincent. But let's jump in. So we did see the weapon, Rotwood Reaper. This wasn't spoiled today. We saw it a couple days ago. I won't touch too much on it, to be honest, but if you've played or created an aura this turn, it gets +2, and it's a once per turn action, 2 resources to attack for 2. Two-handed weapon, it's fine, right? Like, I'm pretty sure this is more specific to limited gameplay. I personally can't see a world where I would play this over Nebula Blade, especially since with Florian's ability turned on, Nebula Blade on hit makes 2 Rune Chants, so it's, offering a lot more offense. And then you have other weapons already like Reaping Blade, which again with Florian turned on in combination with Grasp turns a single blue pitch into 2 Rune Chants and 3 physical. So kind of Guardian-esque feeling there. So we'll see what happens. So not too hyped on this. I'm not going to touch on the spoilers we've already seen. You guys most likely have seen that already. I did want to talk about Starfall really quick as well. It's obviously 1 resource attack, doesn't have go in, pokes for 1, but if you play a lightning card, it gets +1 and go again. That is insane. More recently, we've seen heroes like Zen play Zephyr Needle. So the 1 resource for 2 go again is really, really strong, and Zephyr Needle comes with a huge downside. I'm pretty sure based on what we've seen from Aurora and her cards so far, you're going to want to be playing lightning cards. So this really becomes, 1 resource to go again pretty consistently, and the main thing is it's 1 resource, right? So a single blue pitch, you're going to be able to attack with Starfall and also trigger Aurora's ability. So really, really card efficient, which is super, super strong. Again, we've seen these double cards. I'm looking for new things. Comet Storm. I mean, I will say that these meld cards are pretty sick. I really like the formatting. So, this one's kind of cool. We'll bring this one up just to touch on it. So, obviously, it resolves right to left. So, it deals the arcane from shock. For the lightning ones, it's life. So, gain a life. In the earth ones, and then you get this ability, right? But even down to the formatting of the card, so how you're going to sleeve it, that always bothers me with, split cards and things like that in Magic. But obviously, when you're pitching a card, the pitch for cards already is in the top right hand corner. So you're able to sleeve this guy up with the pitch in the top right hand corner, shock down the bottom. You're going to have easier access to read the card that you might want to read, or your opponents can. I don't know, just cool little things that I like the finer details that LSS and the team over there really care about, which is important when you're starting to scale up like the complexity of cards, like these double face card. Well, they're not double face cards, but these meld cards, really, really cool. Ooh, I haven't seen this. Okay, so an Earth Equipment Legs, common equipment, instant destroy this, prevent the next 2 damage that will be dealt to you this turn, activate only if there are 4 or more Earth cards in your banish zone. This is pretty good in limited, right? Like, so equipment that have a single block are pretty highly sought after in limited. I'm going to say this is all going to come down to how easy it is going to be to banish Earth cards. We've seen the decompose mechanic already on Majestics like Felling of the Crown. I guess we'll see how much decompose we get to. I'm going to assume they're templating it based off decompose that, yeah, you kind of need 2 lots of banish in order to be able to buy into this ability. But if you can turn it on, Well Grounded is a fantastic limited card. Ooh, spicy. Okay, a Majestic. We have Seeds of Tomorrow. I love it. The artwork, this style, I think is amazing. It's really what's drawn me to Floran, to be honest, in terms of wanting to play him. But this has a massive throwback to a chain card which has been banned in, well, no, it's not banned in CC. It was banned in CC for a long time when chain was around, and that's Seeds of Agony. Very, very similar, I guess, throwback art style to that card. Art style is a bit different, but in terms of the person with a big old tree coming out of them. So Seeds of Tomorrow. As an additional cost to play this, put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. Okay, so this itself can't be played from arsenal. Prevent the next 5 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Earth instant. This seems pretty strong. Like, I guess on rate, it's 2 cards for 5, which is behind. But we did see previously with Fuse in Tales of Aria that you'd often end with random blues or cards that you don't particularly want in Arsenal. And we previously had Crown of Seeds to shift those away, which we don't have access to anymore because it is being banned. So we have Tome of Harvest, which has a very similar effect, but that was, even on cards. This, I think, obviously the upside into Wizards and into Dominate with heroes such as Azalea, which are running around, is super strong. This is an interesting one. It is a blue pitch, so you could probably keep it around and cycle it through your deck if second cycle is something that even exists moving forward. But I don't know how to think about this. I think it's fine. Seeds of Tomorrow, fine. Earthform, I think, is super strong. We've already seen it, but just, I can see it. We have got some other cycles. But yeah, on hit, create an embodiment on a 2-card 7 is already really, really good. You get 1 extra block with a non-attack on your turn and a +1 on the defense side. That's already strong, let alone if Floran's turned on. Okay, Rootbound Carapace. A defense reaction, yes. Okay, Rootbound Carapace, 0 cost, defense reaction. We've got the full cycle. The red one blocks 3 and has Decompose. So you may banish 2 earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. If you do this, gets +1. This is amazing. Like, I'm not sure about the yellow or blues, but in red, this is amazing. So one of the things that I was worried about is that we would only see Decompose on offensive cards, so on attack actions that trigger when you're attacking. Floran, I think, is going to be a hero that wants to play mid-range control, so it's going to be pretty defensive early on. And you might not want to actually be throwing attacks. You might prefer to block and keep your life total high. So I was really looking for cards that were going to be able to decompose or banish earth cards by some other means in order to turn on his ability. And this is like perfect, right? So it obviously isn't probably the turn 1 or it's probably not the turn 1 defense reaction for 4, as you do need 3, right? Yeah, so banish 2 earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. Yeah, so you need 3 cards, so you can potentially block up with your whole hand, and then this is turned on from turn 2 really easily. But then obviously future turns, if you were to draw this, it's fine. But I think in red, when this blocks for 3 anyway, the upside of a defense reaction, really, really strong. And more importantly, we mentioned Fuse. Bramble Spark is a card that exists and is really strong in combination with Dread Triptych and Floran. And part of that, again, the issue with Fuse is having to put, pretty terrible Earth cards in your arsenal. But this is an Earth card which you can reveal to Fuse, and you desperately want this in your arsenal. So really, really strong. That card is sick. Cadaver. Okay, the art on this card is spectacular. Who did this? Oh, Mark Poole, of course. I'm definitely going to be needing to get some signed copies of this bad boy. Cadaverous Tilling. 3 cost, 6 power. Only blocks 2, but again, another decompose. When this attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. If you do, this gets +2. Okay, so Floran's definitely not a hero that's going to be going wide, but again, in red, this seems super strong. I don't like that it doesn't block 3, but it would be way too good if it blocked 3. So again, another card that has decompose, so you can turn him on quickly. But quite famously, you guys might remember the times of Icelander and Michael Hamilton. He was playing cards like Wounded Bull, right? And just their efficiency, 2 card 8, really, really strong. And this is a massive upgrade on some of the other Earth cards we saw in Tales of Aria, like is it Break Ground and a few of those others. Obviously, Autumn's Touch blocks 3, crucial, but I definitely can see running this over those others. Fruits of the Forest, we saw this the other day, but Fruits of the Forest, instant discard, gain 2. Again, an upgrade on the Earth cards we saw previously, and this one does pair fine with the Majestic we saw here. So Thistle Bloom, so create X Rune Charts where X is the total life you've gained this turn. This is actually below rate without Floran's ability turned on by itself, and obviously gaining 2 life out of a single card is below rate, but in combination they're actually even. So obviously gaining 2, and then playing this card, so you get 3 life and 3 Rune Charts without Floran turned on, so you're even. It's fine. Really interesting. I think this is going to be quite cool, and I really love the direction they've gone for limited as well. Obviously you don't get prevention, but being able to gain life. Okay, we're moving into lightning. So Flash of Brilliance. When this defends, you may discard a lightning card. If you do, return an aura you control to its owner's hand. Interesting. When this defends, you may discard a lightning card. If you do, return an aura you control to its owner's hand. Have we seen anything that cares about this? Obviously, you can reset channels, which is like, okay, I guess. But these are... they trigger when they leave the arena. Okay, in my mind, it was when they destroy. But these trigger when they leave the arena, which is super, super strong. Okay, so you get 1 block value out of this, which is already really, really good. And you get to trigger potentially one of your sigils. So you are trading a whole card to do it. But it is a May ability, so you might be able to stack that up with some more interesting sigils potentially. Okay, I'm fine with that. Blast to Oblivion. When this attacks, the next time you play an instant, this chain link, you may return an aura opponent with a cost 1 or less, or target or a token to its own. Okay, yeah, so I see. So yeah, in limited, you're going to want to be getting a couple key sigils, and they're giving you means to be able to just return them and re-trigger them and replay them. And okay, quite interesting. Flittering Charge. If you've played an instant, this chain link, this gains go again. Okay, so the red on this 0 for 4 potential go and is really, really strong and limited. It might find a place in Aurora. 0 for 4 go again. It's pretty good. We've seen that in Briar decks as well. So I'd be interested, but there is a slew of 0 for 4s, even things like Snatch, so it will really depend on how many other lightning cards you have, as obviously her ability requires you to play one. second strike, and this takes if you've done it and go. Okay, so if you've dealt damage this turn, this gets +1 and go again. Okay, this is great as well. So a 0 for 3. So lightning shot. Obviously, all the elemental cards seem like they're only blocking for 2. This one I love. Notably, triggers off Rune Charts. So if you hit them with a Rune Chart, or you've poked them with your weapon, this is a 0 for 4 go again as well. Really, really cool. And then I saw this the other day. It's the lightning equivalent of the Fruits of the Forest. So rather than gaining 2 life, this is preventing the next 2 damage that would be dealt. Yeah, really cool. And we've seen some of this. This was Matt and I's spoiler, Blood-Torn Bodice, and I stand by. This is about as spicy as a potato in CC, but obviously with the world premiere coming up, all of these spoilers being the rares and commons, they're definitely tailoring them to getting you prepared for limited, and this card will be great in limited, I believe. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, here we go. Generic Runeblade stuff. Splintering Deadwood. And I apologize, I'm looking at this on February, so I don't know who spoiled these cards. I would definitely give shout outs to the creators who did, you know, if it was noted. But maybe that's something for February to think about. I don't know. Maybe down the bottom you could say spoiled by if it's during previous season, but it's probably quite a lot of work. And I know they have another section which details that. But Splintering Deadwood, so 3 cost for 7, 3 block. I mean, already you know, it's not too bad. When this attacks or hits, you may destroy an aura control if you do create a Rune Chart. Okay, this is like quite good. Again, we discussed the Earth card being a 2-card 8. This card is a potential 2-card 8. There's a lot of auras that you can destroy. Obviously, the sigils are limited, but I don't know how many of those are going to see playing constructed outside of some busted Acilio wizard shenanigans. But you do have the things like the incantations, which the 1 cost, I forget the name of it, that Vincent plays, that it's sometimes a little awkward when the last verse counter comes off to make the Rune Chant. I used to previously like put it in the bin, but it actually doesn't destroy until your next action phase. I believe it's action phase, which actually means it sticks around. So you can, if you've pulled the last counter off that, potentially throw the Splintering Deadwood and destroy it, so you're not losing any value and you're gaining a Rune Chart. Quite cool. Obviously a 7-power popper, and it blocks 3, which is the big one. Condemn to slaughter. Again, 3 block. Your next Runeblade attack this turn gets +3. You may destroy an aura you control. If you do, each opponent destroys an aura. Okay, so I'm seeing a bit of a cycle. The lightning cards were bouncing auras, and these, you know, sort of Runeblade generics are destroying them. The first thing, I just played a Living Legend skirmish on the weekend, and I lost to a Prism, so that was the first thing that entered my mind in terms of being able to bin off a Rune Chart to destroy an aura, which is quite good. And again, it blocks 3. I'm not sure about this card. It probably will have some interesting use cases if channels become a thing again. That's another aura that you can bin off, but if you're playing against a Runeblade, the chances that they have stray Rune Charts. Oh wait, yeah, so each opponent destroys one, so they get to choose. So yeah, I'm not sure about that card, not sold on it. Okay, this card I saw and I freaking love. So Malefic Incantation, Malefic, I guess that's how you pronounce it, Incantation. So 0 cost, 2 block, but has go again, and this enters with 3 verse counters. When it has none, destroy it. Once per turn, when you play an attack action card, remove a verse counter from this. If you do, create a Rune Chart token. So this card, I think, single-handedly propels Vincent forward, right? One of her issues was Rune Chart generation. You kind of had to get pretty creative outside of the original incantation, of which I still can't remember the name. But having at minimum access to 3 more copies of this just allows so much more consistency. And it's interesting to me which one is going to be better, right? Because the original one, you get guaranteed at the beginning of your action phase, whereas this one requires you to play attack action, which has positives and negatives. So the downside is that you can't pair this into like a 1 card 8. So like in Vincent, if you just kept a 6 power rune gate 2 cost, you were able to, like, for Vincent's ability, banish it. You create a rune chant, and then at the beginning of your action phase, the original incantation would just give you the second rune chant. So 1 card 8, super strong. Whereas with this, you have to play the non-attack. And you were playing Morvarin Skies and Shadow Puppetry and things like that already, so it's not a huge negative, but it is a few more hoops to jump through. But you do have the advantage of not having to take the rune chance. So if it doesn't work out for the turn and you don't want it, you actually don't have to pull this off. You just simply don't play a non-attack action, and this keeps its verse counters. This is really good in the fact that it's at 0 cost as well, so you don't have to pitch. You get to do this into morph into, X, and you don't need to waste a card, so it really helps the math on some things. So yeah, Malefic Incantation, love it. I think that card is epic and might single-handedly, sort of reshape what Vincent decks are and what they're doing. We've seen this Sigil hit the high notes. Here we got Runeblades that are singing now, I guess. I don't know. 3 block. I'm loving seeing these 3 blocks as well, to be honest. So 1 cost, 4 power. If you've created or played or created an aura this turn, this gets +2. So this is a 1 resource for 6 in most cases. Like, this seems super strong in like Viscerai aggro decks at the very least. I like the hit the high notes. It's like a... Is it? Oh no, push the point. Is that the one? What am I thinking? I was thinking of a card that has hit in the name, but maybe not. So yeah, this is kind of push the point-esque. I wonder if they gave this to push the point to spoil. That would be kind of hilarious. But that was a 1 for 4 that if you'd hit, it gets the +2. This card is great. I think it fits really good in cost curve with Runeblade, with a Nebula Blade, and also actually the weapon we've already seen. So with the Rotwood Reaper. So if you can fulfill the aura requirement, you obviously fulfill it on both. So if you're able to give Go Again, you can blue pitch into hit the high note with Go Again into swing weapon. Kind of cool. We'll see. That one's like less spicy, but probably just really good. Hocus Pocus. I did see this one again as well. So they've completed the cycle. We had Spellblade Assault and Spellblade Assault and Spellblade. What is the other one? I can't remember. Well, there was the 1 cost and the 2 cost, right? And the 1 cost made a rune chant and the 2 cost made 2 rune chants, and now they've completed the cycle, kind of. If you were to follow that down, the 0 cost would make no rune chants, but this is a 0 cost. The red is 0 cost for 3 block that creates a rune chant. So with Floran turned on, this is just a 1 card 5, right? Which demands a card or leaks damage and sets up 2 rune chants for the next turn. Seems pretty strong for me. I'll be interested if Vincent wants something like this. Like, probably not, but I do like 0 cost cards in Vincent. You can't often capitalize on the resources anyway, since you're playing stuff for free. Rune Rager Swarm. If you've played or created an aura this turn, escape Go Again. So this is kind of like Swarming Gloomveil, but fair. Right, sometimes you would just play a Swarming Gloomveil for 3 Go Again anyway. Most times you're trying to get it to 4 power, but it seems like solid. I don't know how much CC or constructed play this would see, but definitely unlimited seems like a fine card. Arcane Curing. When you deal or are dealt damage, destroy this. When this leaves the arena during your turn, create 3 Rune Chart tokens. Oh, when it leaves the arena. Okay. So obviously if you deal damage. Okay, downside is if it's in play on your opponent's turn, you take damage, you lose it for nothing. But if you deal damage, if you play it, deal damage, you get the Rune Charts to either set bank them for the next turn or fire another attack and, you know, obviously keep going. But this does just say when this leaves the arena. So it can be used in combination with obviously like Bloodtorn Bodice or like something like the Splintering Deadwood. So you're literally destroying an aura that wants to be destroyed anyway. I guess maybe in Vincent this is kind of okay, and Floran it's like fine if he's turned on because you make 4. I don't know. This card I'm not sure about. Deadwood Dirge. Destroy an aura you control. If you do... Okay, this card I love. So, Read the Runes is a card that's seen play in a lot of different Runeblade decks, and it specifically was just 0, make 3, and didn't have Go Again. What I can see a lot, what I could see happening a lot is, again, I'm talking a lot, this is like a Rosetta preview, but I'm talking about a lot about Vincent, but if you've banished a card to make a Rune Chart, you can simply play Deadwood Dirge to destroy the Rune Chart you just made, and in its place leave 3 more, and then come in with a Deathly Wail or something like that. Or if, say, Floran's turned on, you can destroy a Rune Chant to make 3, but instead it would be 4. So it's like playing a Read the Runes, but with Go Again, and you get to continue the turn. So I think this card's going to be pretty good, and even in Viscerai, a Go Again action that makes Rune Charts is just super, super strong. We definitely needed more of them, so that card's like pretty dope. This Rune Chart, I really want it in Coldfall. If any of you guys know or know that it's been announced of how you get the Earth-styled Rune Chart in Coldfall, please let me know. I know that for the callings, they're giving out the Rainbowfall versions of the new Rune Charts. And I did see that, I think the SCG exclusive, which, you know, lame-o because I'm in New Zealand, so I'm never going to be buying from SCG. But they've got the Coldfall Lightning ones, and I don't remember seeing an announcement on how you get these. So if you guys know, definitely let me know in the comments below. I'd be keen to know, but I think the art on that is like so sweet. And then we have, okay, this card, the last card we'll talk about. I did see this one, and I might be the most hyped, even though I think it has no implications for CC. But Regrowth Shock, right? So this is a meld card, Earth Runeblade action, Lightning instant. Now, I mentioned that I played an LL Living Legend skirmish on the weekend. I'm just all about Briar and Living Legend, but actually my favorite type of Briar, which is Blossoming Spellblade combo, and it is not there yet. I thoroughly got my ass handed to me, mainly because it didn't quite have enough lightning cards. Even though you get Ball Lightning, it blocks for 0, which can create some interesting scenarios. But when I saw this card, my brain exploded. So not only does it count as an Earth blue pitch for Channel Mount Heroic, but it's both an Earth and a Lightning card, which means you can fuse. It's 3 more copies of a single card double fuse for Blossoming Spellblade and Fulminate, which is kind of dope because in Living Legend you can do something like crack Vexing Cool Hand, crack Bloodsheath Skeleta, then play Fulminate, use this to double fuse, which is going to give all of your attack actions +3 and Go Again. Then you get to play the Blossoming Spellblade for free, double fusing using the Regrowth and Shock, and just start the combo. This also, as long as you've dealt 2 more Arcane, like from a Rosetta or from the pings from Blossoming Spellblade, this card single-handedly combos with it by itself. Because if you've dealt 3 Arcane, and you have one of these in your yard, which it blocks 3, so why not? And you play a Blossoming Spellblade, and you get its fuse ability in terms of playing something back from instant. If you flashback this for 0, you get to deal 1 arcane damage, and then what you would do is end the combat chain. So the Blossoming Spellblade is in the yard, and then the regrowth is going to return that same Blossoming Spellblade that allowed you to play this back to your hand. So it's like you actually only need to get to 2 arcane damage if they're not blocking, because this shock would actually deal the 3rd point. So like I said, a Rosetta or an extra ping here or there, or a Rune Chart or something like that on top of the Blossoming. But I am like so stoked with this card. Living Legend, I love that format. I really been trying to get it pumping here in Auckland, but yeah, this card is sweet. Yeah, I think that's about it. Okay. All in all, I think some pretty solid cards. I'm pretty excited. If I'm being completely honest, I think the cards that I've seen have made me more hyped for Vincent possibilities over anything else. But we'll see. Obviously, we haven't seen a majority of the Majestics. The Legendaries are still to come, so on and so forth. So, yeah, we'll see. But that wraps it up. We've gone through all the cards that were released on Runeblade Day. So until next time, catch you then.